NXT TakeOver 36. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, a long wrestling weekend. And here we are. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Alfred Konuwa, back in Los Angeles. He was in Vegas last night. Had to leave town. That's the kind of night he had. He was like, I got to get out of here. He's going to catch up to me.
I'm physically back in Los Angeles. We'll see. The rest of me is still on its way, but yes.
And Issa, NYC Demon Diva herself, still in Las Vegas, watching TakeOver remotely.
I'm experiencing the SummerSlam hangover today, so here we are.
Crazy though, man. So what do you think? Okay, TakeOver in and of itself, regardless of the quality, how do you think this fared as a follow-up to Friday and Saturday and everything we saw?
You know, wrestling quality-wise, I felt like NXT TakeOver was that nice coffee that they bring you after you had your entire meal and you're just chilling at the restaurant, and they bring you that nice coffee that just gives you a little bit of energy when you need it. You know, it wasn't dessert, but it wasn't bad. It surpassed my expectations. When it comes to the wrestling, it wins the weekend wrestling-wise, right? Maybe. There was a couple of good matches last night on SummerSlam, but there was some great wrestling tonight.
Yeah, from an in-ring standpoint, I would say it had some good wrestling and whatnot. Just as a spectacle, though, I mean, there's no comparison, especially being there live at SummerSlam with this big crowd and seeing some of these reactions and big moments in production. You know, I did think that it was an enjoyable show, but forget SummerSlam. Looking at it in comparison with other takeovers, like when TakeOver was at its peak, when they were doing arena shows with 10,000 people in the building, you know, that New Orleans takeover that they had a few years ago where Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa headline, it was a great match and a great pay-per-view. I think it pales in comparison to those, but I still thought it was an enjoyable show.
You know, I would say you said not dessert or coffee. I think this was the hot washcloth they give you in first class before you land, and you're just like, "Oh, this is refreshing." Yes. But now I'm ready to get off the plane.
Right. Okay. I like that. Maybe I just need a coffee. So
I like both analogies, by the way, but both of those I thought were very good analogies.
Yeah, and you know, everyone, you could do the hot washcloth at home. It's not that hard. Look it up online. You can warm it up the same way. It's like spa day. You know, fresh out of your microwave. Christian James Calderon, $5 super chat. In your opinion, who had the better pop, Punk, Lynch, or Lesnar?
Punk.
It was CM Punk.
It was an all-time pop. I mean,
but
Lynch and Becky Lynch have very big pops. But
as far as last night goes, they both had huge pops. I thought Lynch had a bigger pop. But some people were already getting up and leaving when Brock came out. A lot of people even missed him, like finishing, like murdering Cena after the show went off the air because people were trying to get out of there. That show was so long. But as far as the weekend, it was CM Punk. Last night,
you know what's funny about Becky? Yeah, Becky Lynch, the same thing. Is people were getting up and leaving as Becky Lynch came out because they thought that Carmella was going to be in there. And I was there with a couple of my friends, and they said in our section, people had gotten up and left, and they had to come back into the building to see Becky Lynch.
We had somebody that left our session, and then he came back, and he was like, what just happened? Like, he left, and he, I guess, ran right back. And by the time he came back, Becky was already holding the title. He was like, how is that possible? I didn't even go that far. And I'm like, well, you know. If you know, you know.
There you go. Yes. Brett Murphy, $5, saying Vince says the Muscle Buster needs to be banned on the main roster. Regal and Triple H are like, oh, F it, use it.
Yes.
Man, so good booking tonight. I mean, look, the wrestling was good. The booking, there were some surprises tonight. Yeah. I mean, all but one title changed hands tonight. And weird that I think it was Vic Joseph on commentary opening saying this is the end of an era. I mean,
he said that a lot. And then there was that interview with Nick Khan this past weekend with Ariel Helwani where he just quite plainly said
that was
going to be a rebrand.
A good listen.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, very good listen. And he said that there's going to be a rebrand, and they really hammered that home that there's going to be a new era. We're probably going to get a new set. You know, you saw them tear it down last week. So, yeah, they really hammered that home, which made me think that Samoa Joe had to be going over.
I'm thinking about this. I mean, the indie-rific era of NXT, I mean, but it's always been there, though, right? I mean, even you go back to Seth Rollins winning the original NXT title. And who was he against? I want to say
Jinder Mahal.
Was it Jinder? I thought it was
Mahal.
I think it was
Jinder who he won the title against.
Yeah, I remember. I've seen that episode. But that's the thing. It was like it wasn't as indie heavy back then. I don't know. Like there are a lot of people that have succeeded through NXT that did not have rich and storied independent wrestling careers ahead of time. And I was thinking about this. I was saying this online. This to me feels like, especially after seeing that interview, in the late 90s, there was radio, MTV, record labels who looked at people like Beck or even Stone Temple Pilots like, this is a rock star? What's with all this whiny, mopey, eccentric stuff?
Right.
And then we had new metal with a lot of angry big guys, and we had teen pop with a lot of people who look like models. And I feel this is WWE doing the same thing, saying like, okay, we want people that are superstars. This isn't so much about artistry. This is about marketability.
Yeah. And that's a great way to put it. And I think NXT was due for a rebrand. I just think the way it's been done from the perception of people watching NXT does kind of have a dark cloud over it, that it was essentially gutted. So many of these top guys were just overnight just taken away from NXT. So I think people might have a bad taste in their mouths. But I've thought for a while that NXT is due for a rebrand. AEW can be the indie-rific company. And there's really, in terms of them having these types of guys that appeal to a type of hardcore fan, the fact that they're doing it right and they're doing it in a way that I think entertains a lot of people, that's okay. But if NXT wants to be different, and if NXT wants to differentiate itself as a must-watch program, they can't be what I think has been AEW Light, where you just have all these indie guys doing things that, WWE, does not have an affection for this type of wrestling. So I'm here for the NXT rebrand. Just tear it all down and let's start out over again, because NXT right now, as of right now, has been branded as a failure in terms of them losing the Wednesday Night Wars. Now, I do think it's been entertaining and it's had a lot of good moments, but the way that the top of the office looks at this is that they couldn't beat AEW on Wednesday nights. What type of show could be more interesting than what AEW is putting out?
What's interesting about that, though, is I think for the men, they've been putting on a B product, but I think with the women, it's been an A- product.
Yes.
For the most part. So I think that's working. And we haven't heard that much about changes there. There have been fewer releases of female talent. I'm curious to see how the women's division evolves in conjunction with what they're doing with this rebrand.
That's a good point. I think you kind of position it to the women are like the top division.
I think they are. And I'm telling you, man, that's where they missed out on the biggest opportunity to lean into that when AEW was struggling and stumbling, building out its women's division.
The issue that I have with that, and I found myself feeling that way tonight watching Raquel dominate, is I get so happy that they book them that way. But then they come to the main roster and you have somebody like Asuka, you have somebody like Shayna Baszler, and they do nothing with them in the main roster. It's very, very hard when you try to follow both products to get invested in this women's division, when it doesn't matter how good they get booked, what's going to happen when they go away. And that really affects your viewing experience as a fan or as somebody that covers the product. It's like, should I even get excited about this? And that makes me sad.
Well, and this applies, so you mentioned like Shayna and Asuka, and this applies to a lot of their male champions as well. It is not a character to just have it be where somebody is really tough and undefeated, because then once they're defeated, you have nothing. I worry about that with Walter now after his loss tonight. Like, you can't just have it be like, oh, well, they're just an unstoppable force. Like, that's a winning streak. That is not who they are, because that cannot go on forever.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. I think that's more of a concern with Karrion Kross. I don't think, and I think they did just get away from the character of Karrion Kross while making him undefeated. That streak was a big part of who he was. And I don't think, and I'm not confident that they have big plans for him in terms of what they're going to do with this character now that he's just losing all over the place. I'm terrified for Karrion Kross. With a guy like Walter, I think he's proven himself as just like this big, the chops are a big part of his act, and just this kind of cold aura that he has is like a legit tough guy. I think he's going to be in a better position, especially in NXT UK, which is kind of a smaller pond that he's been dominating for years.
Yeah. Azatez, thank you for the 99-cent Australian super chat. Started off tonight with Ridge Holland versus Trey Baxter on the pre-show. Ridge Holland getting a pretty easy win. Pete Dunne does not look menacing in street clothes.
That he does not.
No. Yeah, no, that's a fact.
Yeah. So Ridge Holland got that win. I don't think there's much to say about this match, but they opened it up hot, as Buster Poindexter would say, with Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight for that $1 million title. Ted DiBiase ringside. As predicted, Cameron Grimes got his win in front of the audience. Is there any argument that Cameron Grimes, if you're saying things were not going to change in NXT, like, Cameron Grimes is working, right? Like, I don't know where they go from here, but this has been masterful thus far.
Yeah, I really liked it. I popped for the $1 million trash can that he brought out to put like the Butler clothes on. I thought that was so funny, and I actually enjoyed the usage of Ted DiBiase throughout the match. It was good to see Cameron Grimes finally get his moment. I feel like we went a little like the long route. I thought we were gonna go somewhere else with this. At one point, I actually thought they were gonna become a tag team, and be together. But ultimately, I always felt it should have been won by Grimes to begin with. So I'm glad that he finally got that win. And I will give them credit for putting on another good match. It was so entertaining for somebody that we've seen wrestle so many times recently. The match still felt fresh and it was enjoyable. Eli Knight is so good. I have a bad feeling he's gonna get called up soon.
Yeah.
I like this as like not only the opening match, but as a climax to what this feud has been. I think this has been the opposite of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, which they started off with this death match and then just kind of went backwards and trying to outdo themselves. And this started off with the heel winning and the babyface chasing, the most simple formula. And then in the final match, you have Ted DiBiase doing all these spots. He was like a third member of this match. He did the $1 Million Dream that got a big pop. And then Cameron Grimes in Ted DiBiase's trunks wins that title. This was a perfect climax. And I just thought they made this guy into a superstar. This is one of those moments that I really wish would have been in an arena. So you can see just how big of a star this guy is.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed. Also, while we're in the air, Glenn is having some personality issues and he don't know who he is anymore. So Glenn has a split personality.
I often wonder who I am. Last night, I decided to watch a making-of documentary about The Fly Part 2 instead of the original Fly. I was like, I'm more curious about The Fly Part 2. Who am I? What am I becoming?
Yeah.
Fly 2 darker in some ways than the original Fly.
Is it better?
Oh, no. Have you seen The Fly with Jeff Goldblum? Like that movie.
I've not seen The Fly 2.
The original Fly is the best.
Yeah, I like the original.
Well, Goldblum, like that movie will scar you, but The Fly 2 has some darker notes. Wow. It's with Eric Stoltz as his son. It's not great, but it's darker in some ways.
Good.
Anyhow.
Maybe I'll check it out. I don't remember. I've probably seen it, but I might not remember it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think LA Knight goes to the main roster from here.
Yeah, I know.
There's a chance I could see it. Why not?
How tall is he?
He might be tall enough. He looks like a big guy. I mean, he does come off as a pretty big guy. Maybe he's not as tall as we think he is, but on NXT, he always looks the part.
Yeah.
Physically.
He seems like the type of, but here's the thing. Let me just say this. Like, he seems destined for like the Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler level main roster. Like
I almost cry every time I see Bobby Roode now. The way that he was treated in NXT, the way the crowd reacted, the promo he was cutting. I remember him come out in the suits, and now you just see him hanging out with Dolph Ziggler, and it's almost like, why? Because he looks the part. You know what I mean? The guy is in a spectacular shape. He can talk. I don't understand why he's in that position right now.
No, I think he's going to end up in the Alpha Academy. Like, this could go very poorly. But I do see them calling him up. Yeah, I feel like this feud has been the best thing he's done in NXT, and now it's over. Easy. So honestly, like, there's a challenge of what do they do with him. Kyle O'Reilly, we'll talk about this. Kyle O'Reilly, I think, is the biggest question mark of how do you book him going forward, given his win tonight and the end of his journey with Adam Cole. News tonight, many reputable sources are saying this was indeed Adam Cole's last NXT appearance, but maybe tomorrow on Raw he could show up, maybe Friday on SmackDown. Who knows?
Friday on Rampage?
Friday on Rampage, yes. Wouldn't that be a get? Then we have the women's match second, Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez. This is kind of the same thing. I see a lot of like failing up tonight. Like I see Dakota going to the main roster after this tonight. She's got the look. I think that her character will probably need a little reinvention on the main roster, but this was a very, very good match. And Raquel Gonzalez got a very nice victory here tonight.
Yeah, I really enjoyed their match. They have very good chemistry. This was a match that I didn't know which way it was gonna go. Maybe because low key I was kind of rooting for Dakota Kai. I really have liked what she's been doing, and I just love her style. Yeah, I think you're right about her looking main roster material. Now I feel like Raquel Gonzalez has improved even in the ring so much, and I love seeing how they're booking her so dominant. There was a couple of spots there that I was like, she's incredible, and I feel like she needs to be. We need to start mentioning her up there with the names of, most dominating women's NXT women's champion. Like, she is great, and they're sticking with it. I love seeing Kylie Ray come out at the end. I think they're going to have an awesome match. I thought this was great.
Yeah.
WrestleNomics or somebody should do a study that if you're a female wrestler and you have colorful hair, how much How much faster is your track to the main roster?
That's something to follow. I like that forensic study because with Shotzi's there.
And Bailey was last. But Bailey had none. Yeah. Bailey was the last of the 4 horsewomen.
That is true. Sasha got up there.
Yeah, but the problem with Bailey wasn't Bailey. It was her little inflatable guys. They didn't want to agree to the contract, so that's why she had to stay longer.
All those inflatable egos.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same thing with Raquel, though. So they're setting her up. The match. We'll talk about the match or what happened after the match. But how do you think Dakota looked in defeat tonight?
I thought she looked excellent. I thought she was the star of this match. I thought she was really good with her counters and the way she did that scorpion kick and the way that she countered with a triangle, because there was going to be a challenge in making it look believable for Dakota Kai, who I think is the smallest woman on that roster, to, go toe to toe physically with Raquel Gonzalez, who's a big woman. She's very tall and very imposing and dominant. But I think Dakota Kai did a very good job at kind of the cat and mouse and able to kind of outfox Raquel Gonzalez and getting over on her offensively. So I thought this was a good match.
Really good take there, because you think about that. If you look at Zelina Vega versus Bianca, there's such a size difference, but you never think that Zelina Vega looks good in those matches. To where tonight, I thought that Dakota looked the best in this match. It was great. That's what I mean about Raquel being great. It takes 2 to tango, and Raquel is doing a good job at putting her opponents looking amazing in defeat. And when you look at how Raquel looks, I don't think it hurts you to take a loss to her because she just looks so dominant.
And then after the match, Kaylee Ray from NXT UK showed up and stared her down. So I think we know where this is going.
This is really cool. I like this crowd really treated Kaylee Ray like she was a superstar because, a lot of NXT people who watch NXT probably have no idea who she is. And there was a huge pop before they even showed her. So I was just wondering, oh my God, who is it? Who could it be? And when it was Kaylee Ray, I was pleasantly surprised because, I know who she is. But I just don't think that many people would have given that type of reaction to her. And they did give her that superstar reaction.
Same. And I didn't even know the entrance, so it took me a moment to realize who it was, and I was happy to see her, but I was very proud of the pop. I was like, well, they watch NXT UK because I didn't recognize the music.
Yeah. Speaking of that crowd, the way they were lit tonight, it looked cool, but it also looked like a weird something out of a dystopian future, or they should be in Pink Floyd's The Wall or something. This was very different, but I see why they feel like, hey, we gotta change this up a little. This
definitely,
yeah, it didn't have nearly as big of a feel of what we've seen the past 2 nights. And I understand it's a much smaller crowd, but they could do more.
That's a choice.
Start doing matches in the Raw Underground. I think they need to bring that set back.
There you go.
Yes, please. I love Raw Underground. Come on.
I'm not sure I think I went from hating it to liking it, ironically, to then just being funny to now I kind of miss it, but I'm not sure if it's because I enjoyed it or enjoyed making jokes about it. I don't know.
Or maybe you miss Shane McMahon.
I do miss Shane McMahon. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't pull him out with the Best in the World intro.
I thought he was the one that's going to show up in AEW.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Imagine. Oh my God.
People, heads would explode. Just so much.
Biggest story in wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Dragunov versus Walter. Man, this just did not let up tonight. And these were epic matches. But this match, look, we knew this was going to be just a knockdown, beat him up, drag it out. But Dragunov getting the win. I think we talked about how they booked him building up to this. But Alfred, you first. What did you think of the match, and what did you think about his win tonight over Walter?
This was a great match. I thought it was a very good match. I don't think it lived up to what they did before, but it's not really fair to compare it, even though it's going to be inevitable. They just had such a classic match last year that this, I felt like, was a lot more of a WWE version of what they did with all the near falls and a little more sports entertainment in there. But I thought it was great. They still had all the chops with Walter. I was just shocked that not only Dragunov won, but won by submission by tapping Walter out. I thought that would have been such a better finish if they had actually built Dragunov as a guy who could threaten to beat Walter, if they would have given you this impetus, because I think that dampened the match that Dragunov was just he lost to Pete Dunne. It made it very hard to believe because Dragunov kicked out of everything in this match. All kinds of things that Walter did that Walter's won matches with easily, Dragunov kicked out of. And to see him kick out of all this stuff where Pete Dunne just beat him with his finish in 10 minutes, it makes it very jarring to watch something like that. But having said that, this match, self-contained as its own thing, I loved it. I thought it was very fun to watch.
Isa?
Yeah, I enjoyed the match, and I haven't seen their first one, so I didn't have an expectation going in, which I like, because I feel like then you don't have anything that you're comparing it to or living up to. A lot of people told me to check it out, and I was torn between, do I check it out now or do I wait? And I decided to wait, and I think that was better because it made me view it in a different perspective. Those kickouts by Dragunov were incredible because he looked like he was barely kicking out and he was dying right after. And it made you think at one point, Walter is going to have to kill this poor kid to win. That's literally what I started thinking. I'm like, what is he gonna have to do? And just his chest, Walter is such a beast. 870 days. So to see him tap is to me mind-blowing. And Glenn was just saying, I just wish for somebody like me who wasn't familiar with Dragunov that you would have built him differently the last 2 weeks when he showed up on NXT, or just let him build promos, or just make some video packages and not booking like that, because I thought he looked incredible tonight. Nothing like the guy I've seen the last 2 weeks on TV.
And I think commentary failed a little bit, but I think the matches actually gave the setup that we saw where he's tenacious, he's willing to go the distance to put himself through physical abuse. But I feel like they didn't put that over enough tonight where, based on how they booked him, this was kind of an underdog win.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah, exactly what this was. It was shocking.
But I think anybody going against Walter is an underdog.
Yeah.
You know?
Peter Bahi, $5 super chat saying, jealous of Bianca Belair for getting to hang out with Alfred this weekend.
That's exactly. She asked to take a picture with me and I obliged. So we had a good time.
That's so nice of you. So nice of you.
How was that at the after party with the media there last night? Because I'm sure a lot of the media had some questions and words for Bianca. I'm assuming Bianca was probably pretty limited or had to watch kind of her response.
Sure. I mean, there was a Q&A portion. I just went straight to the after party. I was ready to get lit. But there was like a Q&A portion where the media did interview with various people. And I don't know if you guys saw, Nikki Bella did not hold back in talking about how much she hated it. So they definitely got that out. But that actual party
but Nikki Bella was drunk. She was in the lobby here getting wasted because she wasn't even at SummerSlam. So I love what she... Yeah. I love what she said, but I was like, yo, that wine she was drinking down there really helped her just let loose in that interview.
Yeah, she seemed pretty salty about not being able to be at SummerSlam. I don't know what's going on there, but did not hold back.
Yeah. You know what's going on there.
Yeah.
We should be there. Somebody else is there.
Want it to be awkward, you know? You can't see him.
It's Z $5. The final takeover before the rebrand didn't need to be in the CWC. Cold to SmackDown. So we lost in the 3-hour dumpster fire on Mondays. I mean, SmackDown with Becky and Brock, we gotta make some cuts to SmackDown, man. We gotta Alpha Academy. Sorry, we don't got time. Dirty Dogs. Sorry, we don't got time. Mysterios, take some time off.
Brock's ponytail alone deserves his own segment on SmackDown. Yo, he came back looking sexy. That was awesome.
I'm so glad he had the ponytail. I mean.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love seeing him come back with a different look because every Brock Lesnar return, as much as you get hyped for it, always looks the same. But this Brock that came back, you were like, ooh, this is a Scorn X coming for Paul Heyman. I loved it.
Now, do you think Brock
revenge body?
Do you think Brock Lesnar is sexier than Roman Reigns? Is this a break?
No. Never. Nobody in the world. But I thought he looked sexy. Hipster cowboy Brock. I'm here for him.
But in terms of loyalties, Issa, I think you and Paul Heyman are probably experiencing a lot of the same emotions right now.
Yeah. I'm not ready to talk about it. A lot of people have tried to ask me, who am I going to pick, what side? And I say, we'll talk about it when we need to. The match hasn't even been made yet. I don't have to make decisions yet. Let's not go there.
Look, we have 2 storylines in one between Paul Heyman and Issa. This is going to be a great storyline between Brock and Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Stellar Justin Lopez, $4.99. This match made me want to take one shot from Walter before I die, but at 870 days, it was just time. Didn't expect to tap out. He tapped out to Dragunov.
Yeah, that was very, very surprising finish that Walter tapped out. They really put him over, and I don't know why
made it better.
Yeah, Justin, I don't know why you'd want to take that chop from Walter because I saw some of those and I was just like, my goodness, Dragunov is a beast.
He said Dragunov's chest looked like cheap lasagna from Olive Garden.
That's what makes him a good opponent.
Oh, very appetizing. Very appetizing. No, I mean, this is just crazy tonight. Just to think of what we saw. I mean, this has just been a crazy weekend. This is like, is there too much of a good thing? You know, at the Olive Garden, can you get too many breadsticks? Is that possible?
Just don't get lasagna.
It's true. Yeah. Breadsticks, I don't even know, like, and fundamentally, the breadsticks are basically like a notch above hot dog buns with like garlic butter on them. Yet strangely, very edible, very addicting.
They're very good. They're very good.
Right. Oh my God, we got Chevy's fajitas through Uber Eats last night. I was expecting a disaster, and it was actually like incredibly solid.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't had Chevy's in so long. It's more of a NorCal thing. I don't see any of them out here in LA, really? But when I was in Chico, there was a Chevy's downtown, and we'd always go there.
Yeah, we got that. We got like a pound of chips, a pint of salsa, and we shared a fajita, and it was actually like surprisingly good. That was our SummerSlam eating last night. Where have you guys been? Where'd you eat in Vegas? East, I saw you got a slice of pizza.
I did. So I've already eaten there, but I like peanut pizza, which is by Planet Hollywood, like the Million Mile, like the shops or whatever. But my friend was like, "You have to go to Secret Pizza," and I said, "I tried it. I didn't like it." And she was like, "No, try it again." So I did peanut again, and I did Secret just to see, and I still like peanut pizza better. I think Secret Pizza is just cute because of how the spot is set up, and it kind of looks like one of those hole-in-the-wall New York pizza. But as a New Yorker, I like to think that my pizza expertise counts is higher than anybody else's, so I'm going to say peanut pizza is better.
Oh, wow. I'll tell you, Slice of Vegas at the Mandalay Bay shops has the best garlic bread with like pesto that I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like worth going there just for that. The pizza.
The pesto comes separately, or do they put the pesto?
No, they have it on the garlic bread. They have pesto garlic bread. Like worth going there just for that alone. It's very, very good. Alfred, where'd you eat in Vegas?
I never remember where in particular, but I did go to like an authentic Chinese place in New Orleans. It was very delicious. I thought it was very good. They had great lo mein, and then some of the good catering at the SummerSlam was very delicious as well.
Man, like WWE is just really treating the media well.
They're trying. Sometimes with their friends, sometimes not. But who knows?
I feel like it's been a while. I saw more media love for WWE based on how they were treating the press this time than I think I ever have.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because, this first event back, a large scale. This is really treated like a WrestleMania, the way they covered this, the way they handled this. Because, I've done events when it comes to the smaller pay-per-views or whatnot, but this was treated like it was WrestleMania. So I think they just saw it at the same scale and decided to just kind of roll out the red carpet so that it could get as much coverage as possible. And when they do that, WWE's PR is just very good. It's excellent in terms of getting access to wrestlers, getting, stuff like that when it comes to the media.
I mean, this is a whole other different discussion, but like access journalism is absolutely a thing. And wrestling press, like Alfred, you write for a very reputable outlet. A lot of reporters don't. And it's amazing sometimes how just having good PR, friendly PR can get you a lot of great coverage.
Yes.
Stellar Justin Lopez, $9.99. Oh, we're talking the Vegas screw job. I was flying home, couldn't vent on it yesterday. Way to go, Vince. Nice to job out Bianca in 10 seconds for the fans to reject Becky.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation that they've gotten themselves into. I mean, look, very happy to see Becky back. Not like that. I mean, a lot of Kofi Kingston would happen.
Yeah, it felt very because Becky Lynch is my favorite, one of my favorites. Everybody knows that. And it felt like when I ate that pizza and broke my diet, right? Like it felt so good. I ate it, and then immediately after, I was like, "Why did I just do that?" That's how I felt. You're so happy when you hear the music hit, and then when she wins like that, Becky can win. I just wanted a match. I wanted them to either put out a banger or stare down and challenge her for a future occasion and go away. The match there was a lot of matches that didn't need to be in that card. It was too long. I don't understand what the decision or the thought process was behind that, but it was upsetting. They should have just had her put Carmella out in 30 seconds and then have Becky come out and challenge her.
And this is the weird thing when we harp on WWE about long-term storytelling. It's like they've set it up so well that it would have made all the sense in the world to have Carmella and Zelina attack Bianca last night. Becky could have made the save. They could have turned it into a tag match. They could have gone so many different ways with this. And it's not that Bianca lost. It's just she lost in the most disrespectful fashion possible.
Very, very quick loss. And something that I think does not, it puts Becky Lynch in a tough spot, in that Becky Lynch is a returning hero, the conquering hero, and there was a fervor to want to see her back. But coming back under these circumstances now, a lot of people are going to side with Bianca Belair, and rightfully so. And that's going to come at the expense of Becky Lynch, which is unfair, I think, to Becky.
This is the heel turn they tried to do 3 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, they always get their storylines in, so here it is.
Yeah, Justin Lopez also saying, don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled to see Becky, but you don't book her like this.
Agreed.
SMFH.
Becky. It was creative. Becky's back, and she looked absolutely incredible. I just have to say that the fact that the last time we saw her, she announced a pregnancy, and then she comes back looking better than before, that's insane. Good for her.
Alejandro Villarreal, my favorite name to say in the super chats, even ahead of John Cena's bald spot, saying, I feel TakeOver 36 was better than SummerSlam. Maybe I'm just a big fanboy of NXT, but the match of Adam versus Kyle was one of the best, in my opinion. Good note for Cole to go out on.
Can't go there with you. I couldn't care less about the Kyle match. They've just wrestled too many times for me, and I was just so into a lot of the higher spots. SummerSlam was not without its faults, but it had a lot of really great moments for me. And I thought NXT TakeOver 36 was a good wrestling show.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but no, go ahead. No, I was just saying I enjoyed it, but I don't think it was better than SummerSlam.
So 2 out of 3 falls match: Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole.
Bye.
Yeah, traditional wrestling match, the one we were almost excited for. Any stipulation? Well, I like a traditional wrestling match. Kyle O'Reilly won that fall. The street fight, which was chosen by Adam Cole, was won by Adam Cole. And then we had the steel cage match finishing it off with Kyle O'Reilly getting the win. I mean, this was crazy, right? Like, do you think, not to take away from Kyle O'Reilly, but do you think this has more to do with Adam Cole leaving than Kyle O'Reilly having like big plans in his future?
100,000%. Adam Cole leaving was the central part of the storyline, and God love Kyle O'Reilly, but he just, right place, right time for him. So good for him for being able to get this big win. But, I did not care about, I zoned out. Listen, it's been a long weekend in Vegas. I was up until the wee hours of the morning. And listen, I tried everything I could to really get in this match, but I just don't have the emotion for this match because I've just seen it so many times. And a lot of the stuff they did just kind of seems like spots that we had seen. I know they're calling back and telling a story, but they worked very hard, and it was a good athletic match. But I was only interested in the finish and to see if Adam Cole would lose, and that, in fact, did happen.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the match was great, but these guys putting on a good wrestling match shouldn't shock anyone. It's Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. There's something about Kyle O'Reilly that just doesn't click with me. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know. He just doesn't have it for me, so it's very hard to become invested. But at the same time, it's like, if you know that you're losing Adam Cole, they might have some big plans for Kyle O'Reilly, because wouldn't you put him in a story that it will matter when he takes that loss? He took 2 losses to Kyle O'Reilly during this feud. That should be a big deal, and it doesn't feel like it's a big deal. There was a crazy, like, the Super Panama Sunrise spot. I thought that was insane, and how the hell does somebody kick out of that? There was a couple of kickouts that I was like, no way. But that also happened in Walter and Dragunov, so I'm not criticizing that. It's just WWE style, like Alfred said. But, I mean, did I pop and jump and go up and down? No, it was just like, okay, great. I was more interested in the finish because I kept thinking, if Adam Cole loses, is he leaving,
I think they've got an interesting setup where I don't know who is going to be the first big match against Joe, but I could see them almost doing championship matches and having Joe versus O'Reilly, Joe versus LA Knight. Like, let Joe just beat a bunch of guys and then go Walter, or then go Pete Dunne, or do something big for the next TakeOver. But I feel like there's a lot of guys that are going to be fodder for Samoa Joe now, if they want. And I think they could do that because they think it'll probably pop a rating to just get those matches out, especially with these guys that they don't know how they're going to fare in this new NXT.
Right.
That's a good point. And this was a very pro Adam Cole crowd. There was, a very shocked reaction to him losing. They did chant BS, bullshit when he lost. They were not very happy. I think they all knew that this would be the last time that they'd see him for one reason or another if he was to lose.
Val with a $4.99 super chat saying it was awesome seeing Adam Cole use Britt Baker's lockjaw move.
Oh, I didn't catch. A lot of husbands using a lot of significant others using their spouse's moves this week, because Edge used the glam slam.
I love when Edge did the glam slam. I pop for that.
But this was good. This was a lengthy match, not as long as I feared it was going to go.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I thought this was going to take an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. There were just a lot of epic matches tonight. A lot of the same time. I mean, in Cameron Grimes, LA Knight, that didn't have to be long. And they opened with that. And even that went for a while. So after Kyle O'Reilly got that, then we had Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross in the main event. Where is Scarlett? What's up with Scarlett?
I mean, these fans certainly wanted to know during that whole entrance there, just screaming, "We want Scarlett!" And I guess it's not anything like injury related or whatnot. She was planning to take this time off, but I'm hearing she'll be back. But it might be too little, too late for Scarlett to come back for Karrion Kross. To be honest, man,
she planned to take this time off. Like they're a couple, they're together. Like, what is she doing? That, and no shade to Scarlett, I'm just saying, like, if you're taking time off, like, it's not like, I mean, you just show it, you don't have to rehearse.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is why I think something more is going on. I think she could get called up to the main roster. I think Kross is after tonight after losing. But Scarlett, I could see them having separate plans, and that's why they're already trying to detach them.
Yeah, I hope not. I like them together, but without the bells and whistles, like people say, yeah, you really did strip down Karrion Kross, but I think the treatment that you gave him on Raw is what really, really hurt him. I 1000% think that. I don't know, maybe he wasn't getting that big of a reaction before, but after that loss on Raw, everything changed for this guy, and I know they just booked him to like murder Hardy in 30 seconds, but it didn't matter. And now he lost, which is okay. You lost to Samoa Joe, but I remember all of us thought that Kross should beat Samoa Joe, like a few weeks ago, and look at where we're at now. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It could be interesting if they make it that she's what allows him to win, and then you get him in a feud where then the opponent's trying to kidnap her or something, keep her away. They talk about Attitude Era, right?
There you go. Now, I mean, it would be too late to do that on Raw because now he's finally starting to beat Jeff Hardy consistently, and I mean, he needs something. I don't know if there's any coming back for poor Karrion Kross, but I don't know how they're going to handle him moving forward. If he's going to be part of this
not
new
in
era
NXT,
of NXT, he's got to get called up to the main roster and just try to do what you can there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope to see them together. I hope she's doing okay, we'll see where they go from here. But this match tonight. This was intense, fairly quick. And Samoa Joe getting that win. He's the now first three-time NXT champion.
I thought Samoa Joe looked great. He didn't look like he missed a step in the ring. I really enjoy seeing him. His selling is so good. But there was just something about seeing him walk out and wrestle again that just automatically made you feel good no matter what. I liked the spot where he just kind of like came back. I really thought he was gonna like pass out when Kross had him in the cross jacket. There was one spot that Samoa Joe was selling so good that I really thought he was gonna pass out. I'm like, are they really gonna do that to Samoa Joe? I'm excited to see if Karrion Kross gets called up. There's a list of people that I want to see Samoa Joe wrestle. So I'm excited for this reign.
Yeah.
They also had that great spot while Joe was in the cross jacket where there was like blood dripping out of his mouth, and they were able to get it slowly dripping out. It was great.
Yeah, you can rehearse that.
When's the last time Joe won a match with a Muscle Buster?
That's a good question, but I don't remember the last time I saw the Muscle Buster. It's one of those moves that has a dark cloud hanging over it, where it's like kind of like Owen Hart's sit down pile driver. Like I see people in AEW do that, and my heart always goes in my throat just because of the history. And it's what sucks is that like 9 times out of 10 that move just works with no incident. It's just sometimes there's a freak accident, and thankfully Joe was able to just pull it off regularly, and I think that was a good way for him to emphatically win this match.
Yeah. I think the Muscle Buster it looks brutal, but I feel knowing the history behind it, when he hit it, you're like, no, like you said, you just stop for a moment when they hit those moves that they're not supposed to be hitting, but he looked good. NXT with Nakamura. I think you're right. I think Nakamura is the last person I remember seeing take that move. Somebody in the chat said that was the last time.
Yeah. This was a good takeover, man. I feel like if they flipped this around and this was last night and SummerSlam was tonight, I feel like the trajectory of things would have been better. It's just tough to finish the weekend this way and maintain that enthusiasm.
Well, they beat SummerSlam in terms of length. This was a perfect pay-per-view length. It was like short, sweet, simple, and to the point. the matches that were in the card mattered. That's the one thing that kills me. But it also made me feel like SummerSlam was being treated like WrestleMania, because they tend to do that with one night WrestleManias where they try to get everybody in that card. Because last night I really did feel there was a couple of matches that I could have definitely done without.
Yeah, there's a lot of fluff on the SummerSlam card, and they cut all the fat on this card. That's what I really liked about it.
Yeah. So there you have it, the end of an era. Tomorrow, maybe some people show up on Monday Night Raw. Tuesday, maybe Nick Khan comes out and opens up NXT.
Oh yeah,
and says from now on, you're all fighting for your contracts.
Hunger Games.
Hey, that's not the worst idea. I mean, you don't want to make light of the releases and stuff like that, but if Nick Khan's going to be this big heel to a lot of people, then why not just run with it?
Yeah, lean into it, man. It makes for good TV when you blur the lines.
Sure.
Do we have any news? Do we have anything else?
No, we usually don't do. I mean, the news is that Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, did report that this, in fact, is Adam Cole's last match in NXT. Now, what that means, that doesn't mean it's his last match in WWE. It could mean he's going to the main roster. It could mean he's going to AEW. But, the Young Bucks had some fun with this. They put up a bio. They like to mess with their bios and change it. And so it was something saying that they're going to do a seance for a dead character, which, if you follow BTE, Adam Cole did die on the show. He was killed off. And so who knows where he's going.
Jackson Darkness Gaming, $5, saying, anyone think after Brock and Balor, maybe Seth will finally get a shot to face Roman and be the Chief Slayer? Shout out to Alfred for that name.
We workshopped that. I'll give Issa as well, saying that, the Chief Slayer, Chief Killer or whatnot. But who knows? I mean, I was very surprised that Seth Rollins lost. It makes me think they're going to do another match.
Me too. I think so as well.
And I think he's going to announce that he's going to be the Vampire Slayer. When he faces Edge.
Oh no. I love that. I last night gave the Brock Lesnar and Roman feud, I already gave it the Head of the Beast nickname.
Oh.
Head of the Beast. Oh.
Head of the Beast, that's the name for this feud.
I like that Goro was trending. Tomorrow come back because of Brock Lesnar's ponytail.
I know.
Stellar Justin Lopez, $4.99. Last time Joe did it was versus the Demon Finn Balor, and that was the only L that was put on the Demon.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. Yeah, it's a very protective move. I really do like the Muscle Busters finish. I mean, back to TNA when he first did it, I thought it was a really innovative move to do, and he was doing, I believe he was doing an ROH too, but it's a great move. It's just, one time he did it on a poor TJ, who's or Tyson Kidd, as he was known, who's now a producer and a great producer, I hear.
Oh yeah,
it injured him and ended his career, but it's a relatively safe move, especially if you saw how he did it to Karrion Kross. Really took care of him in delivering that. It did not look like it was painful in terms of Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
So
I also don't know if this is like breaking news or an exclusive, but I did see Baron Corbin at the casino, so I would assume he's doing better financially slightly, or he stole somebody's money and he was trying to double it, but I did see him downstairs and he was wearing his Stain shirt.
Oh, wow.
It's funny. It's hilarious to me that I mean, like, if you're going out in character, wrestlers normally don't do that. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. You should have seen them though on when was the junket, Alfred?
That was Saturday. Was that Friday? No, Friday.
Friday. So on Friday after the junket, because they were dressed up to like do the junket, when they came downstairs, they were so recognizable that like it made everybody go crazy in the lobby because they were, they were dressed up. Other than that, you see them walking around, you have to really know who you're looking for because they're very dressed down. But I thought that was so funny to see him with the Stain shirt. He had to. On his Twitter, he had to be filming something because I was like, why is he out here?
He did. He was in a casino. I think he won like $100 or something.
That's where I saw him. Yeah. He was at the casino. I'm like, is that dude out here with that same freaking shirt on?
They kept me laugh.
So I thought it was hilarious.
As I was walking to the after party, they were escorting him out for loitering because they didn't want him there. So that's how much in character Baron Corbin was. That's not a true story, by the way. Don't go report it.
They should have.
I saw him at the casino. That's my story.
It's like, remember when MJF did the whole thing of StarCast where he was banned from the panel and he showed up in disguise? Like, I like when they do that. I like when they really bore the lines.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, everyone. Well, that covers this weekend. Tomorrow night, Raj, Jack. Who else is on Monday? Labar.
Yeah, it's usually Justin, Raj, and Jack?
That's how little attention I pay to Mondays. But Tuesday, the start of a new era.
Yeah.
For NXT with the three of us. Good seeing you both. Issa, say hi to Vegas for me. I'll be there hopefully in 6 weeks.
I'm hoping to get out of here tonight. It's not looking very promising. These flights are a mess today.
Next summer, Money in the Bank, though.
Lord we're staying with you.
I'll have the studio set up then, so we'll definitely be able to broadcast.
I was going to say, at least all of our content will be created from your house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 25 minutes north of the strip. Like, that part's going to suck. But
that's fine. So when we land, we'll take our equipment, we'll set up our little areas and leave it there and then come back, But...
Yeah, absolutely. I already know the drive like the back of my hand. Cool. Well, have a safe trip back, Issa, Alfred. Have a great night. I'll see you both on Tuesday. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. He's at This Is Nasty. She's at NYC Demon Diva. That's Diva with a 1. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Give us your follows, your likes, your retweets, and we'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.